Peeps, it's Vlogmas Day 2. So today's topic is we're going to be able to solve, let me zoom out so you guys can see the title. We're going to be able to create equations given a t-table without the initial value, the algebra way. Now this is important. The day before we taught you the method of just solving it with graphs. By solving it with graphs, you can solve any problem like that. But unfortunately, when you go to high school, they expect you to solve it this way. Because sometimes your high school teacher's not going to be like, you're asking them like, hey, let me get a graph paper. They might not have it. So this is the best approach, and honestly, this is the approach you're going to have to use for the rest of your high school math career, using the algebra way without a graph, okay? So before we start, once again, if we want to create an equation, again, we use our formula y equals mx plus b. Okay, we always use that formula because that's the important thing it says. For each problem, find the slope, rate of change, and y-intercept, initial value of the t-table to create an equation. So we use y equals mx plus b to create an equation. Now, the easiest one to find right away is your b, which is your y-intercept. Remember, you look at this box, right, or the x values, and when you go next semester with us, we're going to call this the input values. And in high school, they're going to call it the domain values. So you look at the input values, or the x's, and you're trying to see if you have a 0 here. Clearly, we don't have a 0. So we have to do it the long way, either that graphing way or the algebra way. But today, I'm going to show you how to do the algebra way. Once again, it's the same thing. You pick 2 points. Be smart about it. Pick points that are easy to work with. Yes, you can pick your negatives. You could do that. You'll still get the same answer. But you'll finish the problem faster if you pick the positive ones. So in this case, I will pick 2, 5, and 3, 7. So I'm going to pick 2, 5. So 2, 5. And then the other one is 3, 7. So 2, 5, and 3, 7. So 2, 5, and 3, 7. Once again, same deal. You're going to have to figure out your slope, your rate of change. You should already know how to do this. Now, it's not Vlogmas without Christmas jams. So, here we go, people. You figure out slope, and I'll figure out slope. Ready? Enjoy my Christmas music. This is like a jam. This is like my jam when I was young. Oh, yes. 7. Same change. Plus, negative, different sign subtract, 3 plus different sign subtract, 2 over 1 is just 2. That is my slope. Enjoy your Christmas jams? That's the best one. Okay? That's your slope. M equals 2. Now this is where the algebra comes in. Since we don't have a graph, you're going to have to figure out the y-intercept algebraically. So technically, this is how the problem looks right now. 2x plus b. Okay? We're halfway there. Now we need to look for this one right here. What you have to do next is, out of these 2 points that you picked, pick one that you want to use to substitute the values in the equation. You could have picked any of these 2 as well, but just stick with the ones that you already formally picked. I always like picking the easy one. Again, you know, between these 2, they're kind of the same. So I'm going to pick the first one, 2, 5. Do you agree that the 2 represents the x value? So the 2 is your x. And the 5 is your y value, okay? So this is what you're going to do. This is what a lot of you guys were confused in class. Wherever you see an x here, you're going to put a 2 in. Wherever you see a y here, you're going to put a 5 in. You're going to substitute, okay? So let me zoom in so you can see. Wow, I see a y. So what number is y? 5. So instead of putting a y, I'm going to put a 5 in. Equals, I'm going to keep the 2 because that's your slope. Instead of the x, what number am I going to put for x? 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in for x. Plus b. As easy as that. It's just substituting. Now, these two numbers are attached. No, they're not adding. If they were adding, there should be a big fat plus sign in the middle. But there's no big fat plus there. They're attached. They're together. Remember the exponents? They're smooching. That means you have to multiply. So 2 times 2 is 4. Did you touch these guys? You didn't. So drop them. Now this is called a one-step equation. That's what's left over. This is what you learned last year in 7th grade. You also learned it in 6th grade. And I gave you this for Thanksgiving video. How to solve a one-step equation. Our goal is to figure out what B is. B wants to be by itself. So I like circling B. Okay? An equation has 2 sides. So I like drawing this, I call it the barrier. Okay? There's the left side of the equation. And it's the right side of the equation. You have the left side here, and then you have the right side here. Okay? B wants to be by itself. You always want to focus on the side where B is. B is on the right side. So what number do I have to get rid of in this side to let B by itself? The 4. The 4 is a positive 4. In order for you to get rid of that positive 4, you need to do its opposite, or the inverse operation. If that's positive, the inverse of a positive is a minus. So you're going to do minus 4. If you do it to that side of the equation, you have to do it to this side of the equation as well. So the 4 minus 4 cancels. Yay! B is by itself. Thank God. Okay? Therefore, thank you, Pythagoras. Same sign or different sides here? They're different. So what do you do with the numbers? You subtract them. 5 minus 4 is just 1. And you always keep the sign of the bigger number. 5 is the bigger number. So therefore your B is 1. You're almost done. You're like almost done. You only need to do this. You want to create an equation. You already have all your pieces. You just punch them in together. Boom, put them together. So at the end you have y equals 2x plus 1. And there you go. You're done. You just solved finding and creating an equation from a t-table the algebra way. This is the algebra way. This first part is the same. This is just finding slope. This part right here is the algebra. Substituting values in and doing inverse operation to solve a one-step equation. Next semester, we're going to be solving multi-step equations. So that's number 1. Let's do another one together. Let me zoom that in for you so you guys can see what the problem that I'm doing. So that's that problem. Notice, once again, remember, these are your x values. These are your y values. We call them the input values. These are the output values. In high school, these are your domain values, and these are your range values. Okay, so you look right here. You want to create an equation. So you want to use y equals mx plus b. Did they give you the y-intercept here? Did they give you a 0 for the x value? They didn't. So you have to do it the old-fashioned way. Yes, you could pull out a graph, find slope, and then pick a point, and then graph it, and then see where the line intersects the y-axis. That's your y-intercept. But here we want to practice the algebra way. Shoot! Look at the problem. There's negatives everywhere, so I'm stuck picking negatives. So I'm going to be adventurous. I'm going to pick these two. I could have picked these two, but I'm going to show you that even though you pick the complicated ones, you still get the right answer. So I'm going to pick negative 4, 16. Let me flip this page over. Negative 4. Oh, can't even see anything. Why didn't you guys say anything? Negative 4, 16, and then 3, negative 5. Okay? So there you go. We're going to use these 2 points. Remember, we need to create an equation. To create an equation, you need a slope and y-intercept. The first one we attack is always slope. So let's find slope. You should already know how to figure out slope. So let's figure out slope together. Here we go. With my Christmas jams. Yeah! You know that Hernandez performed that song when he was in Mexico back in the old days? Like I said, multi-talented. Same, change, change. Same, change, change. 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. Negative 21. 3 plus 4 is 7. I could reduce. by 7 reduced by 7, that's negative 3 over 1. So therefore, that's my slope. That's my slope, negative 3. Now, if you had a graph, right, if you had a graph, negative 3 means 3 down, 1 to the right, because 3 is your rise, and that's your run. And then you could have grabbed your graph paper, pick this point, and you'd be like, 3 down, 1 to the right. You know what? Let me do that really quickly. Look, 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 look. This is the old-fashioned way, the way you learned it the other last video. So I'm going to pick 3, negative 5, 3, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? There it is. Now my slope is negative 3, 1. 1 down, 1 to the right. So I could go 3 down, 1 to the right. Okay? 3 down, 1 to the right. 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 Can't do it anymore. Let me do it the reverse. 1, 2, 3, 1 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 1 to the left. We're almost getting there. Look, look, look. We're almost gonna get the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, boom! So your y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4. So then my answer should be y equals negative 3x plus 4. You're done. No, 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 no. You're not gonna have a graph paper anymore. You need to do it the old-fashioned way, the way I learned it, using the algebra way. That's that's expected of you in high school. So let me see if we get the same answer. We have y equals, we already have the m, which is negative 3, so negative 3x plus b. The next step is pick one of these 2 points. It doesn't matter which point you picked, you should get the right answer if you did your slope right. I'm going to be adventurous again. I'm going to pick the one that's harder. Look, it's a big fat 16. So I'm going to pick negative 4, 16. Remember on our t-table, negative 4 represents the x value. So that's your x value. And 16 represents your y value. That's your y value. So what this means is this. Wherever you see a y, or wherever you see an x, you're going to substitute a negative 4. Wherever you see a y, you're going to substitute a 16. So let's go ahead and do that. I see a y. So therefore, I'm going to put in a 16 equals negative 3, because that's your slope. There's an x. There's my x. So I'm going to put a negative 4 in, plus b. Okay? No, these things are not adding. They're attached. That means they're multiplying. And you should remember how to multiply integers. Negative times negative. That's actually a positive. And if you forgot, watch one of my videos that I showed at the beginning, like a long time ago, about the rules. Remember the little panda bear? A lot of you guys made fun of it that looks like a rat. Negative divided by negative, negative times negative is a positive. So that's a positive 12. You didn't touch these guys, so drop them. We're trying to solve for b. B wants to be by itself. It wants to be a loner. Yay, want to be a loner. There's 2 sides. There's the right side of the equation and the left side of the equation. You always want to focus on the side where the b is. The b is on the right side. So therefore, I don't care about 16. B wants to be by itself. So who do I get rid of in this side so b could be by itself? The 12. If he's a positive 12, the opposite of a positive 12 is a minus 12. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. That cancels out. Yay! B is by itself. Excuse me. 16 minus 12 is? Dang! I got a 4. That's what I got on the graph. You see, you got the same answer. It was magic. Okay? So there's your B. You're almost done. You just put them together. Boom, boom. These 2 go together. You're not done. This is not your answer. You want to create an equation. So these 2 come together. So y equals negative 3x plus 4. That's exactly what we got on the graph. This is also non-proportional because you saw on the graph that the graph went through the 4. So it's non-proportional. Okay? And that's how you do it the algebra way. Stop complaining. A lot of you guys are complaining, this is so much. When you go to algebra, you're going to have to do quadratics. You're going to have to do the quadratic formula. You're going to have to figure out the square to figure out the zeros of the parabolas. So stop complaining. This is simple once you get the groove of it. Now, just remember, on the last problem, in this step, we're like, whoa, are we always going to subtract? Not really. What happens if the problem looked like this after we multiply? Still circle the B. We're going to still have to get rid of the 12, okay? Not just the 12, the negative 12. So the opposite of a negative 12 will be positive 12. Remember, in order for you to get rid of a number on an equation, you always have to do the opposite. So if the problem looked like this, then the y-intercept would have been 24. Okay? That's how you do these. Okay, so 24. Now, we're going to do one more. Whoa! Why didn't you guys say anything? 16 plus 12 is not 24. It's 28. Seriously. 28. Okay? It's okay. I'm making mistakes too. Okay, let's do another one. One more, that's it. I lost my eraser. Mr. Hernandez, what's wrong with you? Sorry, this vlogmas thing. It's too much. Imagine vlogging every single day. Doing a math video every day. Here it is. So this is our last one. Look at it. Okay, remember, we're going to go over fast this one. This is the x values, the input values. These are also known as the domain values. This is your output values or your range values. Okay, remember we want to create an equation, so we use the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay, so again, we pick 2 points, but before that, we check. Did they give me the y-intercept? Sometimes they give you the y-intercept. In this case, they didn't. Someone picked 2 points. Dang! Look at these. They're huge. They're huge. But I want to pick them. I like these big numbers, so I'm going to pick these 2. Why don't you pick these 2? You figure out slope. Let me pick these 2 to see if we get the same answer. We better. Okay, so I'm going to pick 6, negative 25. You see, it's the same steps. Find slope. How to figure out slope? Find the y-intercept. It's the same thing. Okay, 10, negative 41. Okay? Let me erase this quickly. Zoom out. Okay, there they are. You guys picked the first 2, so let's see if we get the same answer. So we have negative 41 minus a minus 25. That's a 10 minus a 6. Same change, change. Same change, change. 41 minus 25. That's 5, that's 10, that's 15, that's 16. That's a negative 16. And then 10 minus 6, different sign, subtract. That's actually a 4. Then I can divide this, simplify this by 4, simplify this by 4, so it's negative 4 over 1. If I would have graphed it, your slope is 4 down, 1 to the right. So you pick one of these 2 points, then you go 4 down, 1 to the right, 4 down, 1 to the right, until you see where it intersects the y-axis. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do the algebra way, the way you have to do this in high school. Okay, so now I have y equals negative 4x plus b. We're almost there. So let me pick, I'm going to be adventurous. Nah, I'm not adventurous. I'm tired of being adventurous. I'm going to pick the first one. Notice that I always pick the first one. You can pick the second one if you want. So I'm going to pick 6, negative 25. The 6 is your x value. The negative 25 is your y value. So I see a y. Wherever I see a y, I'm going to put a negative 25. Substitute. Negative 4 because that's your slope. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a 6. There's my substitution. 6 plus b. That's negative 25 because I didn't touch it. Negative times positive. If you forgot, there's the bear. Negative times positive is negative. So that's negative 24. No, you're not adding. Plus b. Yes! So this is the type of problem that I wanted to show you guys. Because some of you guys think it's the same thing. It's kind of a little bit different. B wants to be by itself. Draw the barrier. We always focus on the side where the B is. So B is right here. So who do we need to get rid of in this side so that B can be by itself? The minus 24. So the opposite of a minus 24 is plus 24. Plus 24. Plus 24. That cancels. B equals, and then you ask yourself, same sign or different signs? Different signs, what do you do with the numbers? Subtract. That's a 1. You always keep the sign of the bigger number. Which one's bigger, 25 or 24? It's 25. So the sign of 25 is negative, so b is -1. No, you are not done. You're almost. Now you just need to put them together. Y equals -4x minus 1. And that is the equation of this line, okay? This is non-proportional because it goes through -1. If this was 0 like this, then it would have been proportional, but it's not, okay? So that's how you create an equation algebraically from a t-table. Now if you notice, all of the slopes were whole numbers. You're not always going to get whole numbers. You're also going to get fractions. And that's going to be on the next video. How are we going to create equations if we have fractional slopes? They're actually pretty easy. They're not hard. So I'll see you on Vlogmas Day 3. That's it. See you guys later.